We muted. Now we good. Two, what up?
What's going on?
Glorious Monday, y'all. 26th? Say 26th? 26th of July.
Yeah.
Look, mama, we made it.
Just off the plane. Just landed a little while ago from Vegas.
No, that stops us.
Shout out to Vegas. Good time out there. Shout out to Usher.
Whew. The king.
Put on an amazing performance.
The king.
Always an honor to witness greatness.
Shout out to Frenchie.
Shout out to French Montana.
Shout out to Frenchie.
Uptown boys, nothing lava.
Ha. Don't block your blessings.
Yeah, shout out to Frenchie. Shout out to Chris Gotti. My brother Chris pulled up on us.
Gotti, a good dude. How y'all doing? Y'all should have stayed in Vegas. All that Monday travel. Whew, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, we had a 7 o'clock in the morning flight.
No, 4 in the morning.
Oh, 4.
Well, yeah.
No,
it was 7. Yeah, we woke up at 4.
Yeah.
Got to the airport like a little 2 hours in advance. And now we're here. I was just telling Shaq we were driving back.
Yeah, man. How you doing though, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Y'all look like y'all had a ball. I've been having a blast for Xander, but when August comes, I'm ready to travel and have some fun. So Mike looked like he was having a blast. MG looked like he was having a blast. I had fun. Well, I can't lie. I was like, damn, I wish I was there.
Yeah, you know, as soon as you could get back on the road, we here.
Yeah. If I could sneak my baby in, I would, because he put me to sleep. Xander hang out to 4:30. But you know, August we'll have a lot of fun.
Nah,
yeah. I said this was one of the wildest 7 days that I've probably experienced. Last week we were literally setting up in Kingston to do Market Mondays, and this Monday we're in Vegas, flying back to New York. So it's been an eventful 7 days. It's all been documented. So I can't wait to show you all the things we've been up to. It's been pretty legendary, to say the least.
Putting on the show.
Yeah, man. But it's good to be back. It's going to be back home. And you know, Market Mondays, couldn't miss it for the world. So we're going to get this going. Before we start, we just want to let you know what we got going on this week. Shout out to my boy Stick Watts.
Legend.
Super solid dude. He's a, I don't even want to call him a community activist. He's just a super solid dude from LA, Watts, California. That's
specifically
done a tremendous job in his community, helped to bring basketball courts to his community, helped to put a gym inside of the U. Shout out to Principal Ra.
Mm-hmm.
Has worked with all the major sports teams in LA. And then he was on the musical side at first, really responsible for helping Iggy Azalea get off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's one of these things that you know, he, like so many other people, they don't get enough recognition sometimes. So from time to time, we like to do a Hometown Heroes edition of the podcast. So he was a perfect fit for the Hometown Heroes situation. So we interviewed him, and he's going to talk about all of his activism and how he was able to get funding for the community, his musical work. We talked about masters. We talked about publishing. We talked about a bunch of stuff. So that's out tomorrow. Shout out
that's
to the
important convo.
Yeah. And then we actually got to see it in action. Like we went to do an event with him right in Watts. So he gave us a historical tour of Watts, and he took us to the Sidney Dean, the scene from White Men Can't Jump, where they had to run and hop over the train. So it was incredible, man. He showed us the landscape, and every time he drove and stopped, somebody recognized him because of the work he's been doing in this community, putting farms in this community, uplifting schools. He refurnished that gym, like you said, which was the home of the original Drew League. If you know ball, you know the Drew League is a huge league in LA. So he refurbished that. He's put he had Planet Fitness put a gym inside the school. Like this is insane. He's an incredible dude, man. Just a solid brother, man. So shout out to Sticks.
Yeah, and so that's coming out tomorrow. And then Wednesday we got open enrollment, which is on YouTube, and that is government contracting.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shakira. She's going to talk about government contracting. We did this last year, but that was during the pandemic. So I thought it would be a good time to kind of refresh that conversation. So government contracting is for anybody, not just for people that, you know, you'd be surprised how many contracts the government gives, from food vendors to clothes to, construction to HVAC to all kinds of stuff. So if you're an entrepreneur or if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, this is something that you definitely want to check out. And that is at Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And from a stock standpoint too, there's a lot of government companies contract. We talked about Boeing, obviously, with their government contract and Raytheon Technologies. There's a lot of companies that you could be looking to invest in. So we learned a lot from that.
Yeah. And then also, don't forget InvestFest. InvestFest going to be legendary situation. We got Ian Dunlap, we got Wall Street Trapper, we got John Henry, we got Fabulous. Man, we got Jimmy. MG the mortgage guy. Yeah, we got 19 Keys. We got Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, we're not gonna let it out. We ain't gonna let that out.
We got a big surprise.
The paperwork is in.
Yeah. So all of the vendors you'll be hearing back this week. And that's another thing. We're gonna have 200 small vendors. We'll be hearing back from us this week to know if you were approved or not. So get your tickets. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the Coachella Financial Literacy. And it's going to be a monumental event in Atlanta from August 27th to August 29th. We'll be announcing more details, but literally everything from live podcasts to fireside chats to panel discussions, some of the sharpest names in business, going to give game. And even more important than that, you'll be there with thousands of people that you can network and build and connect with and, grow your inner circle. That's like one of the biggest things. People are like, well, nobody in my neighborhood or my family talks about investing. So this is an opportunity to meet like-minded people, grow, build with each other, and establish long-lasting relationships. So it's something that we're really looking forward to. All the information is on investfest.com. Be there August 27th to August 29th.
Yep. It's gonna be big, and all the vendors, like you said, we're gonna get in contact with you this week. But if you're like kind of on the fence, don't play yourself, right? Like there's 200 slots. I think we got like 150 in right now. So please don't hesitate. Don't play around. Like we just announced it last Monday, 150 slots going. So if you're intending on being there and being part of the marketplace, please reward yourself by coming.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we can get. Oh yeah, and me and Troy will be teaching our EYL University group chat class
on Saturday
since we couldn't make it for last week. So, all right, we get into it.
Let's get into it. All right, first and foremost, man, this episode of Market Mondays is brought to you by the good folks at Ally Financial. All right, Ally is an option if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally Financial is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service and innovative financial solutions. They are relentlessly focused on doing it right and being a trusted financial service provider to both customers and communities. Get with Ally to make the most of your money so you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter to you. Shout out to the good folks at Ally.
Yeah, I love them dearly. You guys are amazing.
Yeah. And shout out to our clubs too. I know we highlight a lot of our clubs, but I'm just going to run down a list really quickly of all our clubs in EYL University. We always talk about how many we got, man. I'm looking at this list. This is incredible. So shout out to all the clubs, the business club, the cannabis club, the content creation club, Earners on the Chain. That's our crypto club. Shout out to my brother, Alistair. I think he's going to be with us on Saturday as well. The EYLU Junior Club, the Financial Wellness Club, the Health and Wellness Club, the International Earners United. Shout out to everybody that's part of that. Shout out to Scarlett. I know she's been doing that. And Jatali, who's going to be helping out with the UK branch of that. The legal team, shout out to Rosetta and everybody over there. The Mature Earners 50 Plus Club, the Military Earners United, the Political Science Club. Shout out to my brother Arthur. The Real Estate Club, the Lady Committee, PX, Stand Up, and the Parenting Lounge, and Wall Street Gossip Group. That's our stock market club. So shout out to all the clubs, man. There's 17 different clubs inside of EYL University. You can pick from any place that you're interested in. We're going to have it covered for you. So shout out to all the leaders in there, and shout out to all the members that's part of it.
And the cannabis club it's the business of cannabis. It's not like just people that smoke.
Yeah.
For the record.
Thanks for cleaning that up.
Can we do a disclaimer?
Yeah, let's do it. Do your own research, y'all. First and foremost, our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Please do your own research. This is the message brought to you by the good folks at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor. We love y'all.
There you have it. Ian, the floor is yours, brother.
Let's make some magic. Troy, let me share and we'll get going.
I got you. It's on you.
And so, happy Monday. Let's do it again. Disclaimer, do not copy, remix, or reproduce any of my material without written permission or legal action will have to be taken. I love you guys so much. Join the world famous stock club. So if you want the greatest stocks and greatest entries on the planet, join us. You'll get the 4 best stocks for your retirement, the best growth stocks to invest in, the best places to get into the market called out by me, the 2 best places where to get into the market, additional entries from the algorithm Athena, 28 bonus picks on the year. And now we're switching to a format of a 60-minute call at 9 p.m. Central, once a week on Monday nights after the show. If you have made money with Stock Club, put yes in chat. If you heard me call Bitcoin dropping to 28,295 when it was in 50,000, put yes. If you never want to guess again what to invest in long term, Stock Club is a program for you. August 1st through 3rd. My birthday is August 1st, so we're going to do the Stock Club flash sale then. It will be the last one for the year. There will not be one for Christmas. So August 1st through 3rd is the last flash sale of the year. If you want to join the Red Panda Crypto Club with me and the Dream Team, you'll get the 5 safest cryptocurrencies to invest in. Bonus call with me and the Dream Team for the first 500 people to join. The 3 best prices of where to invest every month given out by us. We have some special bonuses coming out this month for you. Additional entries from the algorithm Athena, and then 3 surprise bonus picks on the year, and some of the best damn entries on the planet, excluding nobody, because nobody was talking about Bitcoin going to 28,000 before us. So if you want to know where to invest in crypto, come join us. Red Panda Dream Team Private Trading Bootcamp will be coming soon. Trading After Dark will return in September. I miss you guys so much. The Stock Club call will be tonight, 9 p.m. Central on Zoom for Red Panda Stock Club members only, and subscribe to my YouTube. So once we get to 100K subscribers are going to do a giveaway. So I'm going to give you 3 stocks that I love that I've never told you about. I'm going to give you an exclusive Stock Club sale, 1 open house to live trade futures with us in the Dream Team, an invitation to a live taping of Unfiltered, a breakdown of the top 100 NASDAQ stocks and the 25 that I love the most, 4 episodes of Unfiltered, a secret indicator to use to buy stocks that I've never mentioned before here or anywhere else. And we're going to have a private party in LA for the Red Panda family. So once we hit 100K, these are the things you guys will get. Thank you for supporting. And then Red Panda Real Estate is coming soon. Lastly, college athletes, I want to sponsor you. So if you haven't heard from me yet or the team, or if you're an athlete or a parent or a friend or an agent of a NCAA Division I athlete, please email me, ian@joinredpanda.com, and then we can talk this week. I love you so much. The 3 other indicators to use with the Bender cycles to predict recessions, 99.98% of the time will be on TikTok tomorrow in the Stock Market Secrets edition. Let's go. So I saw this great post from Michael Batnick. Kudos to Mike. I love you, Ben, Josh, dearly. Look, Microsoft's year-to-date market cap, so in 1 year, is $441 billion versus Walmart total market cap is $397 billion, which I thought was incredible. And if you look at like Nvidia's market cap is at over 450 million. JP Morgan is right at 450. Johnson & Johnson is at 450. Amazing. The crazy part about this is that Microsoft's growth in 1 year matches JP Morgan's lifetime market cap and Johnson & Johnson's lifetime market cap. Please put in chat, Microsoft is one of the greatest stocks to invest in. That dead season from when Ballmer was CEO, it wasn't that much fun. But this goes to show you, once you have great management, great team, great products, Azure is amazing. I know a lot of people may not like Word or Office products, but the ecosystem that Microsoft has created has allowed them to hit one of the craziest market cap numbers in 1 year that I have ever seen. And this is a hard pill to swallow, but it has to be said. Like, you determine where you are in life up to this moment. So if you are enjoying the fruits of your labor and you love where you are, congrats. Continue to do what you're doing and add to it. But if you do not like where you are presently, you have to make some changes. So your inconsistency, the lack of discipline, procrastination are 3 terrible traits that are holding you back from where you want to be mentally, physically, and financially. And for me, that's why I was like, okay, I have to do this 40-day liquid fast. And man, do I tell you, some days I fantasize about food that I don't even eat or like. So I know some of you saw me post. I was like, man, I would love a zebra sandwich on a brioche bun with onions and barbecue sauce. Like, your mind plays all these tricks on you. But I was talking to my brother last night, and I was like, if most people can't even sacrifice not having food for 7 days, when you can still get nourishment as babies do through liquid supplementation, are most people capable of hitting $2 or $3 million in a year if they say that that's what they truly want to do? If you aren't where you want to be right now, please focus on your consistency, your discipline, and eliminate procrastination. And a lot of the things that are in your life that you don't want will certainly go away. Now, you know, I'm an Apple Avenger for sure. Like, and the crazy part, like, I don't even love Apple products for the most part. The company and stock I love, right? But look at this. Apple makes enough money from their bond holdings to be a component in the S&P 500. So most companies, when they're holding bonds, it's like insurance, combination of mitigation of risk, and then also not to bleed down their capital. Kudos to Michael Batnick again for finding this. But the crazy part is that they make so much money that their bond portfolio alone is bigger than most companies. So when we're talking about moats or true competitive advantages that will last for a century or half of a century, this is one of them. So when you're doing your analysis and you're doing your versus of stocks and you're saying, hey, is NEO better than Apple's bond portfolio outperforms what NEO is doing. That's before we even get to the main product line, before we get to AirPods, before we get to. So I know sometimes you guys are like, oh, you're always mentioning this company, but it goes to safety. And the truth is, like, I knew what the growth of Apple and Microsoft would be. The true test on if you truly want to be free is if you're going to put your money into assets that are truly going to grow consistently. I say all that to say, if you have not put money into Apple and Microsoft this year, it's only because you're afraid of making money and you don't truly want to build generational wealth as much as you say that you do. When a company this dominant and has been this dominant for this long has a defensive fund of this large, if you're not storing some of your money there and that cash value will not go away anytime soon, I think it's an absolute mistake that you'll be making. Newsom speaks on climate change, and we talked about water. Let's look at this clip here.
So any Northern California loves and appreciates the Folsom Dam and the Folsom Lake. You come up here with your kids. I've got 4 kids nearby Sacramento to enjoy all the recreational opportunities, but particularly the swimming. That's why we have a sign here that says kids don't float, just reminding them of how important it is to wear their life vests. Of course, we do that because, well, there's no lifeguards on duty. That sign's appropriately placed here, right on the edge of the water line, including these lifeguard stands when we do have lifeguards. Here I am now walking into the lake about 1 inch to 3 foot, now 2-3 feet, probably halfway up my waist, would otherwise be in water at this stage of the year. 26%, you can see behind me, 26% capacity. And we're in July. Over my head, interesting, you can see just over the horizon there, just about noon, you'll see the plumes of smoke from the Dixie fire in Northern California. This sort of sight sort of punctuates the moment we're in our history, not just California's history, but you're seeing this all across the West Coast of the United States with this mega drought. And the conditions are such, they're leading to parched conditions where you're getting dry lightning strikes, other issues that are leading to these wildfires. This wildfire, the Dixie, one of the largest now in California that we're currently battling. This drought is real. Climate change is real. If you don't believe in science, please, you got to believe your own eyes.
I was doing some research this past weekend, and I've been making a big transition going into my birthday to focus on being the best student possible and not focusing even on teaching anymore. And I dug into these lessons from GAN. For those of you who don't know, if you're not familiar with GAN boxes, you should go Google that and research. Homework assignment number 1. But 3 lessons. Number 1, divide your risk capital into 10 equal parts. So technically, if you're going to put your money into the market, you should break them down into 10% positions. I think truly you should do 20%, but I think this is a great lesson from Gann. Number 2, do not trade against the trend of a market and only trade liquid markets. Number 1, please put in chat, I will always trade with the trend. You notice how this person that was surfing, they're going with the current. A lot of times when people are like, hey, I want to short the S&P because the market is falling, and Josh talked about this last week, like the art of shorting and making money from being a short seller is an art and a science that people have practiced for decades to get down. But if you don't know how to properly risk, how to read tape, how to tell what the true direction is, you're going to get destroyed. And most important, there has to be liquidity in these markets. And I'll walk you through this later to show you what hedge funds and big firms are investing in by the data, so you can understand why I tie my portfolio to them as well. And number 3, which is great for traders, use a break-even stop when the position hits 3 points in profit, dependent on the volatility. So especially in the futures market, and every futures is correlated or calculated differently, this is a great tip. The only one I would say is probably not for ZB, but for every other future, once it gets into profit 3 points, move your stop up, lock in some profit, let it run. And then that way you can take all the risk off of the table. Last week, everyone's like, oh my God, the market's going to fall. And I told you, because it was partially because of the Delta variant. A big factor in that market, however, was the expiration of the futures market. And then Wall Street went on to a 4-day win streak. Please put in chat, I will not worry about the short term. I will only focus on the long term. S&P 500 today hit a high. You have to stop betting against the market and hoping that, and truth be told, like a lot of people want the market to fall because they didn't invest as much as they should have last year. And I get it. When I didn't invest when I should have in 2008, and even though I had a buddy that told me to invest, I felt like a dumbass. And I was like, damn, I hope this shit crash again so I can get in. But every pullback, and the 2% pullback is not significant, but every pullback is an opportunity to then get into the market if you remember that the market crashes a little bit every month. This week, I want to show you where you can easily find out how much short interest there is in a stock. So write this down. The site is stockanalysis.com. And I'm going to walk you through and show you that Riot has a 20% short interest in it. So if you can see, this is Riot Blockchain, stockanalysis.com. If you scroll down and go to the stats tab, you can scroll down and see a few things that are pretty interesting. So short interest, 19.96 million, 20.80% short percentage of shares out. And then you can also see what the short ratio is, how many days they'll have to cover. If you go and then compare this to, let's say, so if we look at Square, we can see 7.03% of shares out. Right. And then how many days would they have to cover? 4.11. Now let's look at something super safe, like let's say Microsoft. So I'll come down. This is the short selling information. You can see, but 0.67% of the outstanding shares have been sold short. So the higher that ratio is, the more money that people are betting that it's going to fall apart. The smaller that ratio is, the lower the probability that it's going to fall apart. So let's even go look at Amazon. You can see here 0.90%. Perfect. Let's go look at Apple. Not my baby. Not 5% of the people want to short, but even that 5.09% want to short. For me personally, I like for this to have a percentage of 8 or less in order for me to feel comfortable investing in the long term. So even before Nvidia was about to go through a split, some of you were like, hey, should we short it? I'm like, no, the stock is going to rise. If you've done your homework, you know what happens post split. And even here, 1.29%. So even out of the ones that I went through now, Apple is the one that has the highest amount of short interest. But for me, I'm like, great. If all the other ones that I have are at 0.6 and at 1%, the probability of them falling apart and losing is very, very, very little. I posted this over the weekend, but I want to show you guys this clip.
I've seen you be $500,000 up.
You've been up $2.5 million.
What do you got on you?
Nothing.
What'd you put away?
Nothing.
You get up $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Somebody wants you to do something? Fuck you. Boss pisses you off? Fuck you. Own your house. Have a couple bucks in the bank. Don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody at the social level.
And last week when Trap was on, he did an incredible job. Everybody put Wall Street Trapper in chat. He did an amazing job of saying, like, if you can't invest in a primary company, to then look at some of the ancillary businesses that are tied, or some of the companies in the supply chain. So one of the homework assignments that I had everybody in the stock club do was to look at who are some of the publicly traded companies in Apple's supply chain. I'm not going to give them all, but let's go through some of them right now. So 3M is one of the companies in their chain. You can write that down. It's an okay company, slower growth, but it's safe. ASX, great company, really, really good growth. Let's go look at the history of the company. And you can see during the recession of 2008, it went to $1.36. In 2020, it went to $3.41. It's now at $8.26. So even during these declines, you want to stay away from buying from these tops. So anytime it hit these highs up here, you want to stay away from. And then during these lows, you want to try and acquire some. It's not one that I would recommend that you guys would have. Probably a better swing trade, but you can look historically and see what this company has done if you look over 20 years. Alpha and Omega Semi, AOSL is a ticker. Put yes or no in chat if you have heard of this one before. Let's go to AMFK. Go APH. Another good one. Let's go 20 years. Look at the growth of this over 20 years. And let's just say, even if you got it in 2016, was at $34, is now at 70. A little bit of a slower grower, but these are the ones that are safe. It's the 200-day moving average. You can see in 2020, it came down to this 200 moving average at 35.40. It got down to 31.59. You wouldn't have pulled your hair out. You wouldn't have screamed. If you would have bought in then, you would have been good, got in, and you would have been done. Great job for those of you that have had that. ADI, Analog Devices, solid company. AVGO is the next one. Broadcom, GOW. You can see the growth and see how that 200-day average and then the yearly open, how you could have bought in at that price. So this year you could have bought at 36.05. It's currently at 41.09. You want safe and secure investments to be able to pile your money into, so you don't have to worry about having nightmares about where your money is invested at night. And we go to DIOD. Let's go to Flex, FLEX, IIVI. Let's go to JBL. Great growth. Last year, you would have been able to get in at 23.85 based on a 200-day moving average, which is a way to get in. And it's currently at 57.23 as of this show. And then the last one, let's look at KN, which is Knowles Corporation. Out of these companies that I've mentioned, which ones have the strongest growth and would have given you the best return? And put it in chat. I touched on this briefly last week, but more than a third of Americans are considering quitting their jobs. I think people have just gotten to a place, and COVID has made people see this, that life is too short to spend time at a job that you hate, dislike, or does not make you feel alive in some way, or if you feel taken advantage of. So I will say this, for those of you that are exceptional employees, this is the time more than ever when you should be aggressive about your hiring, your benefits packages, and salary compensation. For my business owners, this is a time more than ever when you need to make the compensation packages better and give a lot more flexibility. And this is why I've always told you guys, like, the traditional methods of like sitting in the office for 8 hours and answering email and doing things that don't actually drive the business, that era is over. That Henry Ford era, early farming system era, Rockefeller era of that's going to change for maybe a 5 or 6 year period. Now, at some point, people will get comfortable again, and they won't be mind being boiled again, proverbially, as the temperature in the pot heats up. But for the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to see a wave of people that are going to quit faster, that are going to want higher compensation, and of course, they're going to want better treatment, in which they deserve. So begin working on those things to offset some of the losses that you could experience. Just want to give you a heads up. I want to give a shout out to his brother for saying that this amount of verifiable, valuable information that you give on a daily is amazing. I appreciate you so much. And it's an honor for him to say that I'm truly the Moses of our times. I'm just trying to do my job. I'm honored to do the show with the fellas. Troy and Rashad, thank you, like, dearly. And I hope to keep doing a great job for you guys. We haven't had Jeremy on in a minute, but I love this post that I saw on his page. And it said the S&P 500 hit an all-time record high. Since 1900, the stock market has hit a record high in 290 different months, 20% of all months. This chart shows $1 invested into the U.S. stock market going back to 1900. $1 in, of course, would be 100 grand now. And then the thing that I want to stress, no matter how, because even with news cycles have to get ratings. It doesn't make them bad, but often when things are good, people don't care about the market. And then when you hear breaking news alert, the market fell 6%, everyone pays attention. But the thing that you have to be focused on is how often the S&P 500, the Dow, the Nikkei, the Russell 2000 will hit these highs. And the greatest investment that you'll make is having your money tied into these vehicles to make money for you. One of the best quotes my dad has ever told me when I'm going through a tough time is nothing is the end of the world except the end of the world. And I saw this post that reminded me of this, that nothing is forever in this world, even our problems. So if you're going through something, and I know a lot of people right now are currently going through tough times, like, I promise you it's going to get better. And if we can ever do anything to help you, please let us know. But the drama season, or the season of winter that you're going through now, will eventually end, and spring and summer will present itself to you. The 6 biggest doctors in the world: sun, rest, exercise, diet, self-respect, and friends. Stick to them at all stages in your life and enjoy a healthy life. I will say this juice fast is tough, but man, do I feel amazing? Do I feel happy, more inspired, more joy? Oftentimes, that's why I tell you guys, like, money alone would not buy you happiness. And when I was broke, I would hear that. I'd be like, shut the hell up, give me the money, it'll make me happy. Like, it will provide stability, it'll provide choices. It won't give you purpose, it won't give you passion, it will not give you completion. But these other integral parts are key components of wealth, which the true essence of wealth was centered around health pre-1929. So in order to live your best life, you do have to have all these in combination. So I want to make us to have a concerted effort to put more attention on all these at the same time, and not just to focus on the money part and not have the health and happiness that goes with it. Since we cracked Dow 35,000, the next big target we have looming over us is Dow 40,000. May take 4 years to get there. And if you feel like you've missed out on Dow 20, for those of us that are seasoned investors, we remember when Dow 20,000 was like a big marker, and that flew by. Dow 30,000 came out of nowhere. NASDAQ is at 15, easily above 15. The next mark will be Dow 40,000. If you have not invested in some of the companies in the Dow or the index itself, get ready. You have 3 or 4 years for it to get there. Here are the 10 largest economies in the world. Number 1, China at 64.2 trillion. I am excited yet terrified at the same time when I do this episode about China being our biggest threat, and why I think they may be putting the nail in our proverbial coffin already. Number 2, India, 46.3 trillion. Number 3 is United States with 31 trillion. Indonesia, 10.1 trillion. I'll scale down. Egypt at 8.2 trillion. Japan at 7.2. Germany at 6.9. Some of the data and revelations that I've had doing this research about how China is so much further ahead of us is amazing, but it's terrifying, because if we don't get our affairs in order, we are going to slide down this list pretty damn far. Bitcoin versus S&P 500. So kudos to Jeremy. So here's how 10,000 in Bitcoin has performed compared to the S&P since 2021. Currently, S&P is up 18.7%. Bitcoin is only slightly up. So I'm going to give you guys both sides of this argument. And the thing that, whether you like a currency or an asset class or not, I've always told you, because I know some of you guys, I mean, you hated crypto and then all of a sudden you talk about crypto. Like, when I tell you I'm like one of the best to do this, like, I can be agnostic about entry and still not love an asset class. I told you my horror story about how the Mt. Gox thing and how much money I lost. So I was like jaded, right? I was like one of them exes that was like talking bad about it because it didn't go well in my favor because I got my ass handed to me in the Mt. Gox scandal. But Bitcoin had a great increase, therefore it had a great decline. One of the things that I hear Mike say is all the time, which is a great quote that I take to heart, like, you cannot have tremendous gain without tremendous drawdown. If you want slow, very safe returns, 12%, you're not going to draw down that much. But if you want 115% return in a year, you may draw down 90%. So, but first, let's be like Ben Affleck. Kudos to Investing Latina. I saw this off your page and grabbed it from her. Kudos to you. I think you're amazing. You need to come on the show soon. But be like Ben Affleck. You got to hold on to your assets for the long term. The boy got moved out in 2002 and came back 2021 strong. This is the power of long-term investing if you hold on to your assets, right? But what comes next for Bitcoin? So Bitcoin bull and bear cycles are getting shorter until now. So like if you look from 2014 to 2015, it had 633 bearish days. Then from 2016 to 2017, 845 bullish or upward days. Then 2018 through 2019, 361 down. Then 2019, 192 days of upward momentum, right? Then 2020 hit, 260 days down. And now 407 days up. So what comes next? After a bear cycle or bull cycle, and we're seeing that they're tending to repeat, what I would do, I would take the average. So I would add these 3 cycles up. I would divide them by 3 to give me an estimate of how many days the Bitcoin could be down. I will also take 845 plus 192 plus 407. I would divide that by 3, and that would tell me for how long in aggregate Bitcoin on average should run. Once you know that, you don't have to guess. I'm going to give you guys a tip, and I want you guys to join Crypto Club if you want the entries to be able to get in, because nobody called 28,000 before us, like to the head when it was at 50. Kudos to when Mike was on. But you need to look at Bitcoin and set levels when it drops 50%. Don't put your big majority of money there. A 50% drawdown and then 83.2% drawdown area. Because normally Bitcoin has a tendency to slap back sometimes 86%. You don't want to have the nail right on the head of that because you may not get filled. But if we ever get to a point where it draws down 83.2% and you're able to get in, and that's not how I got the calculation for 28,000, but it will help you get an edge in terms of your entries into the market. I saw this quote and I thought it was amazing. And as I'm on my journey to be better in every way, I thought this was profound and I wanted to share it. Being mean is expensive and being nice compounds. This is not an ad. I just like this guy and the site. If you go to behaviorgapradio.com or check out his IG, he has a whole bunch of like cool like charts and graphs like this. But one of the things, especially as we get older, with my birthday coming up, I'm like, man, what are like some of the 5 things that I can do to be better? Like, I want to be nice in every scenario, regardless of what a person may do to me. Because like only a person is responsible for their energy. I'm only responsible if I entertain it or how I choose to interact with it. If I choose to interact with someone or their energy, I want to be peaceful. I want to be kind. I want to be loving to them, because you never know what someone may be going through. Back to Bitcoin. Not buying Bitcoin is an expensive mistake. So if you look at 10-year returns, and I've had this conversation with people privately, but a couple people publicly was like, why don't you look at the 10-year return in 5 years if you want to compare apples to apples? And I'm like, I have. The numbers are astounding. So like 1 year, Bitcoin versus S&P is 239 versus 33%. When you get to 5 years, Bitcoin is up 4,835% versus S&P's 100. 10 years, 232,754% gain versus 225. So when I tell you guys like, hey, man, that 2013 being in, my God, it hurts my soul. And kudos once again to Matt Schlitt that was working at Facebook, that was telling everybody he knew about it. And I was happened to get the information from him. The returns are insane. And for those of you that trade, you understand that Bitcoin moves like NASDAQ futures. So when it gets on a run, it is hard to stop. So I want you to show the data in comparison of what the returns are. And the answer is not to pick one or the other, but to invest in both asset classes. I saw this quote from the good team at CoinGrams, and it says, cover your needs. Take bets where if you lose 1x, if you're wrong, but you can gain 100x. And I'll tell you guys this, when you're investing long term, whatever the high is, when you draw your calculations with your fibs, please write this down. You need to start placing your marker on the chart where your 100x gain would be. Then you need to go see, especially in tech, how many years it takes in order to hit that mark. Around that generational mark is where most companies tend to give you that 100x gain. And forget stocks. Neglecting your health is the worst investment of all. It makes no sense to have all this money and have all these assets. And from a generational standpoint, I want us to then start focusing on generationally passing on good health habits to our children, our family, and those that we truly, truly love. And I'll say this one last time, like March 3rd, 2021, I stated Square's the new JP Morgan. An amazing brother at the firm stated buying Square is like buying JP Morgan in 1871. And for all my creatives and all my entrepreneurs, because at first, I was bothered. But I had a couple interesting conversations, and it's a tip that I want to share for all entrepreneurs and creatives. Like, people are going to take, remix, or license your idea without permission, but it's important for you to execute upon the idea faster than everyone else can in the interim. But with that said, I want to give you the top 5 reasons that I love Square. So in addition, I think before Microsoft picked their new CEO, I always hoped that Jack would have been the CEO of Microsoft, but great track record, doing a great job at Twitter. And I don't think he gets enough credit for being able to run Square and Twitter at the same time. But look at these stats, like 30 million users on Cash App. It's one of the easiest ways ever to take payment. So if you go back to 2003 or 2007 and you told someone, hey, if you take out your phone, you can put this little box on your phone and take payment from people, they would have looked at you like you were an alien, because it wasn't even possible at the time. So it was easier for anyone in comparison to if you had a business in 1980 or 1990 or 2000. And it was hard to get a merchant provider that was not destroying you with fees and then also getting you faulty hardware. It's it's better than FIS, ADP in comparison, GPN, 13.17 billion in revenue, only 7.03 shares are sold short at the time of this writing. And I said months ago, the reason that they acquired Tidal, I think they have an incredible way to get data at scale in terms of demographics and psychographics that other companies cannot have. So now if someone in Oakland is a huge fan of Meg Thee Stallion, they can see that their purchase history is in alignment with someone who likes a certain business, they can then have certain integrations there to make custom product offerings that other companies that are competitors of theirs that cannot. And now with the announcement of the new company that they're building tied into crypto for that open developer platform at scale, I think over the next 8 or 9 years that they should hit 450 to 512% growth from here. Here are my 7 favorite tools to get an edge in the market. Please write these down because these are super damn important. Number 1 is hypercharts. Let's check this out. So let's say I'm watching the show and I'm I want to compare Teladoc versus, let's see, let's pick a company, Twist Biosciences. This will allow me quickly to so this is revenue. So Teladoc's revenue is in blue, Twist is in red. And let's say I add a firm, which is in yellow. And then let's say I want to add Amazon in green. So of course, Amazon dwarfs everything. So instead of pouring through financials like crazy, and I know a lot of you guys are asking me, hey, like, how do you read some of the investor relations newsletters and 10Ks and stuff like that? I'm like, you really don't need to per se. But even if, of course, if I add Apple dwarfs most competitors, or let's look at this. Even if we compare Apple, and we come down here, and then let's compare that versus Tesla, just to show you like the comparison of scale. Or let's do SPC, Virgin Galactic. You can see in comparison, they don't compare. So if I'm looking at revenue, profit margin, things of that nature, I can quickly use this site to be able to see how much better one is doing versus another. Or if I look at Target is an amazing stock, amazing company, but you can see Apple dwarfs that. But Target is a company that I do recommend. If I want to look at gross profit, let's look at this. Apple is still beating Target. Let's do Target versus Fastly. Okay. Target's winning that race. Let's go to one of Trap's favorite, Chipotle. One of the greatest stories of all time. So we can see what the revenue is there. And let's say if we want to add in American Express, which is in green, and let's add one more. Let's do CRISPR, because that gets brought up a lot. CRISPR's in purple. So let me just do Fastly versus CRISPR. Take out Chipotle, take out American Express. And you can see, I know everyone's saying that certain things are the future. When you look at gross profit, they're getting beat out overall by Fastly. If we look at revenue, you can see the same story. And even if you want to look at revenue year over year, you can compare these things, market cap, and you can see in one click which one is doing better in comparison. So hypercharts.co is one of my favorite sites that I use if I need to do some quick analysis on a company. Another site that I use if I want to get a cheat code is dataroma.com, and I'll click here right on the super investors tab, and then I'll go through and look. But this is the part that's great. You can look at the top holdings from left to right for every major investor here. So let's look at Chris Coleman at Tiger Global. And then we can see what his top holdings are, what the percentages are that he has under management. You can look at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You can see how much they've either added and or reduced. And let's see if there's anybody else. Let's look at Charlie Munger. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Alibaba, US Bank Corp, PKX. Now, even in this, you can see super concentration because Charlie has an edge. There's certain markers that he's trying to meet, but what he does not have is 58 stocks in his portfolio that he's managing. That is for a reason, because it's easier to study 5 businesses, going back to that 20% ratio that I told you guys about earlier, than it is to study 45 different businesses. But to round this list out, SMIs, oldschoolvalue.com, StockRow, and then a quarter app if you need to understand what the quarterly reviews were. And then, of course, a couple of weeks ago, I went on this rant about, best entries of all time, greatest investor in this era, excluded nobody. You know what, I'm a little rapper at the end. And then a good brother was like, hey, man, if that's the case, then why aren't you a billionaire? But and then like billionaire, and these ethereal numbers are just measurement of how much capital is flowing. But then it's really about how much money is under management. So and I told him 280 million under management, which is a small number if you're going to run a fund, is to get to 1 billion gross is only 358% growth. I've done that percentage on 5 or more stocks in the last 14 months alone, on accident, many of which I gave away here. Even 2.3 billion under management at 358% growth will put the fund at 8.234 billion. If I walk away with 33% growth, I would not have that small of a percentage in the fund, but for hypothetical reasons, it will put me at 2.7 billion gross. I'm 38. The average successful hedge fund manager is at 46.3. 2027, when the next crash happens, I will be prepared. So what if all this time, my plan was just to give the picks away for free. So then by the time I do have the fund, that people already have the money to put into the fund. But that's another point that I'll talk about another time. The prices of lumber have been falling since its all-time high. And that's why I told you guys, don't buy things that are high. After a 59% decline, the price of lumber is now down in the year. It was up over 130% early in May. Let's go look at the chart. And this is the lumber chart. So the high, this the lumber future. So in May, it was at 1711.20. It is now at 490, and it's probably going to go back down to that 200-day moving average of $401.70. Is this your king? This is why I tell you guys, anytime anything runs up 200, 300, 400% really quickly, the value of that, if it's not sustained, is going to get cut in half. And it's coming back pretty much to what the June 2020 high was. Don't chase. So for everyone's like, oh man, how does it never be cheap again? There were even people that were beginning to buy lumber and store it. Now they can't give it away. Please be mindful of when you're chasing things that are at a high. Please put in chat, I will not chase no matter what the price is. I will wait for my ideal area. Amazon has already announced their venture into Bitcoin, but wait till Apple announces theirs and watch how it moves the market. The 5 companies that I'm looking at to go in public in the future, I've talked about them before, but Stripe, Robinhood, SpaceX, Reddit, and Discord. I wish Microsoft could have bought Discord, but it didn't get a chance to happen. Now, how many super investors have ownership in this stock? So when you look at Dataroma, this is the thing that I'm looking at. So Square, 2, not bad. Love Jack, should be more, but hey, so be it. Microsoft, 23, not bad. Microsoft is Bay. Apple is Bay. I'm not mad at it. Apple has 10 super investors that have ownership in their fund with this particular stock. Let's look at VOO. That's just why it's the base. VOO has 723 super investors that have this in their portfolio. So if 723 of them have this under their holdings, what is the probability that this is going to fall to the floor and destroy your portfolio? And especially when it's a Vanguard product, going back to Vanguard and BlackRock running the investing worlds and the ancillary worlds that are attached to it. I always tell you, there's a lot of like people want excitement and say, well, I picked and I get it all the time. Hey man, I know you called Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla last year great, and you've been in these, but what's the new one? There is no new Hove. There is no new Tupac. There is no new Drake. It is them. Those are once in a lifetime generational talents. You have once in a lifetime generational stocks. You can either invest in them or not, but if not, you are choosing to gamble. I get the theme and the thesis, but often the one that you're looking for is the one that's here now. Two tech, 2 index, no stress. But with Vanguard running the planet, BlackRock running the planet, if this is a part of your core, you'll be fine. Say it with me. Long-term investing is the wave. You must hold stocks for at least one generation if you truly want generational wealth. 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. And look at this. Apple generated $274 billion in revenue in 2020. iPhone was at the top with 50% of all revenue coming in from iPhone. Apple Services was second, responsible for 19% of the company's revenue, which is amazing. This blew my mind. AirPod revenue versus top tech companies. So AirPod revenue is higher than Adobe, Nvidia, AMD, Spotify, Square, Twitter, Snap, and Shopify. So if there's one thing you can hang me on last year for sure, is that I was like, I don't think Snap's gonna go up. And then Troy said the same thing. I was wrong. But man, this Apple take has been working. Like AirPod just won. And that's why I tell you guys, like, if Biden's gonna break up tech and they make the App Store a publicly traded company, and they also spin off Apple Music in a podcast division, AirPods alone has tremendous value. I just told you about the bond market, what that is worth. But the AirPod division of the business, you want to find conglomerates that have super sectors inside of them already, or super category, and they're usually the ones that have innovated and made. And now, of course, a lot of this revenue comes from people like me that have lost the damn AirPods and they had to go replace them. Nevertheless, more revenue than Adobe, Nvidia, AMD, Spotify, Square, Twitter, Snap, and Shopify. And I love Shopify. And almost more revenue than Uber. What more can I say? Visa all-time return, 1,442% return. Please say it with me. Long-term investing is the wave. Now, with Benner cycle, that helps you predict the market. To pair with, please go Google and read every article that you can about the cycle of everything. You guys want a super cheat code and want to start to, like, this won't give you the crystal ball, but this will give you the base to store the ball on if you put these together. And there's a reason why I went over Fibonacci first when we first did the show, I think episode 4, right? But if you pair Fibonacci with inverted yield curve, with Benner, with this, you won't ever be in the dark about when and fallout could happen. The next recessions are due in 2027, 2033, 2037, and 2041. Get ready. And they could be a year or two early or late. But these are the cycles in which they could happen. Be prepared. Start to look at companies that could fall apart. And during the recessions, tech, pharma, and healthcare are the prime industries that are ripe to have good growth and take a massive advantage of these drops. Here are 15 of the top growth stocks of the future. So you can screenshot these, and the next week I'll go over them. But Fiverr is really damn interesting, and I'll dive on that deeper next week. Top 3 cloud stocks: Microsoft, my baby; Amazon, incredible; and Twilio. Here are the historical correction of Bitcoin. This is what we talked about before. 86.9% drop in November 19th of 2013. That's when that drop was completed. 83.6% drop on December 17th of 2018. 60.8% drop on December 17th, 2020, when that cycle was completed. You need to go look at what is the cause of these events. A lot of you know that have already been in the crypto, but for those of you who don't, please go look. And then, what number did I tell you that you should set your entries at percentage-wise if we get a historical drop? Are we in a bubble? If the PE ratio, so January 1st, 2009, the PE ratio was at 70.91. July 16, 2021, it was at 49.97. I don't worry unless it hits 55. So if you go look at the overall PE ratio of the S&P 500 or the overall market, until we get to 55, I won't worry. Stop worrying about bubbles. Please stop worrying about crashes. Crashes are an immense and incredible opportunity to then get the companies that you want on deep discount. That will only change unless quantitative easing goes away. And once again, I want to say, no one is coming to save you. Going into my 39th birthday. And I've had this revelation for a while. But the thing that I am saying to myself more than ever, everything good or bad that is in my universe, I created, manifested, or planned to happen. Everything on earth is my fault. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to help. And most people, even when you tell them your problems, they're just hearing you out to be supportive, but they truly don't care. It's up to you to fix it. But this is what changed my life forever about how I approach things. I first heard this on, I think, Tim Ferriss's podcast a few years ago. Then I had a chance to meet the gentleman who, in passing, who kind of made this popular. But after the age of 20, you'll only spend a small amount of time with your family and parents before the end of your life. So the guy was like, hey, I think at the time I was maybe 29 or maybe 30. And he was like, at 30 years old, once you leave your hometown, you may see your parents 80 more times over the course of your life before you pass or they pass. Every time they call you, pick up the phone, no matter what you're doing. And I thought it was such a profound statement because I never thought of it calculated in that fashion. And often when things are going well, we think that they're never going to end. Like, God rest the soul of my cousin Rick. Like, he was one of the bigger inspirations on me. And even one of my biggest regrets with family was I didn't spend enough time with him. Like, when Rick passed, I literally was like, good damn, God should have took me. He was too good of a person to be taken. So I say that to say, for the family members that you have and that you love, make time for them whenever they call. And my mom called me when I was going through this. I'm gonna call as soon as I'm done. I'm gonna love you. But keep this in consideration because nothing will impact your life like the loss of your family, especially your parents. Like, I'm so fucking thankful to be able to have both of mine. And that is a pain that you never really heal from. You'll spend a huge amount of your time between the ages of 20 and 60 with the people that you work with. On average, you're going to work with people 8 hours a day. And that's why I'm always like, hey, I'm very mindful of who I'm around, who I give my energy, my time, my effort to, because that 5 people, you know, kudos to all my friends. I love you guys dearly. Like, Dave, Ty, Gary, Bud, Sion, like, man, people who have been there, Marcus, Caleb, P, Dom, like, I don't leave nobody out. Drew, like, love y'all dearly. Chris, Jay, like, love y'all dearly. But the people that you work with, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be spending an average of 8 to 12 hours, and you're going to see these people more often than your family. Please choose wisely. And before the age of 20, you'll spend a lot of time with friends. After 30, you'll spend a small amount of time with just a few important friends. You have to realize that my grandmother used to tell me this, and I was like, oh, that's not true. I don't believe that, because I was stupid, right? Not listening to grandma. But she was like, you're lucky in your lifetime if you get 5 great friends and then 5 great family members that you always get along with and never fall out with. That's why I tell you guys, please call the people that you love and check on them. And we all can do a better job of it. But this is what makes life sweet. The people that you hang around. And I'll tell you, like, as a person who's been really, 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 really broke, like, in college, lost my debit card. I was like, if they try and buy anything, be practicing shit on it. Like, to doing okay now, like, the moments that have been the most special have been around people that I cared about. It wasn't the thing. That's why even me now, like, my desire for anything materialistic has went away as I've gotten older, because I've experienced more people passing. And it made me realize it doesn't matter as much. It doesn't mean anything. Like, me being able to take care of my child and have time with him and time with my friends matters more than whatever exotic car that I can get. And I want you guys to keep that in mind. And at 30 years old, the amount of time that you spend by yourself increases until the day that you die. Also, that you have to realize that these are the 5 things that I learned from this, but most importantly, like, the time that you spend in your relationship is going to increase from the time that you're 30 until you pass as well. So the 5 lessons I want you guys to take away from this is, 1, a few close friends is way more important than a bunch of associates and meaningless connections. And we have to stop using the term friend so loosely as well. I see that a lot, but a few close friends is better than a few meaningless connections. Number 2, when you're with your family, be there, out on social. We've all made the mistake of scrolling to pass the time, but those moments that we get, and people are living fabricated or manufactured lives, they wish that you can have the family and friend structure that you currently have. Number 3, a good coworker and a healthy work environment is way more important than higher pay. And if you have an incredible coworker or team or staff, the higher pay will come with the right team. Number 4, don't rush love. What's meant to be will come. Have faith. Don't rush into it because you're lonely. When it's the right fit, it will be there and it will be undeniable. And then number 5, learn to love yourself before seeking love from others. And if you do that, for those of you that saw my post yesterday on IG, all the wealth and material shit is going to come from this. Because the energy of you being such a positive person, a sweet person, an amazing person, an enchanting person, things are going to gravitate to you. The one part that people, and even I don't stress enough, the material and wealth and even the aptitude or having the cojones to be able to invest a lot of money into the market and into business, that came as a result of me being kind and being around the right people. When I was around the wrong people, my actions were limited and I was a little bit more fearful. Now I'm around people that execute faster. Even when I told Rashad, I was like, yo, it was the time from which you had idea to execution. And he said one of my favorite quotes that I heard from Joe Vitale and Jim Rohn back in the day: success like speed. You can't sit on an idea for 4 years. Like, that's why, like, when I'll be walking out the house, going to car, I'll stop, drive back, have an idea, write it down. Let me do it now. Because I look at every idea as a child. So if I don't give birth to this idea, 6 hours, a child may die. Some of you have been sitting on an idea for 6, 7, 8 years that you know could help the world tremendously, but you're afraid to execute it. And maybe you're afraid to execute it because of people in your corner are not best for you. And maybe because you're not best to yourself and you don't love yourself, you allow those that are not best for you to be in your circle. I love you guys. Over and out. Had to do a little church for y'all today. Love y'all dearly. Hey, we need that energy. I love y'all dearly. Thank you so much. Like
Yo,
the video.
man, you went from Trade Hover to Dr. Lovejoy in a matter of 30 seconds. That was incredible.
That's a fact.
That's incredible.
I appreciate that.
More fire, more fire, more fire, more fire.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Jaleel, man. We're gonna start implementing some sound effects here. We got a lot of stuff planned for more days. Don't be surprised, but if you see some entertainment aspects of
this
it.
is the most entertaining education you're gonna find on
anywhere. Edutainment.
Yeah, we done did it. We done coined it.
Very, very, very powerful presentation about investing and also about life. Hopefully everybody learned something from it, but more importantly, hopefully everybody will implement at least one thing. Implement at least one thing.
I ain't gonna play with you, man. Like I was implementing as you were saying it. So that hypercharts.co, that's already in my, now I'm adding that to the tool belt.
Man,
you see what I'm saying? Like that's what it's about. Like, and you kind of said it, success or speed. I'm not waiting. Like as you saying it, I'm searching. I'm like, oh, this is a nice tool.
I can't. When Rashad called me with the idea about InvestFest, I was like, oh, November. He was like, no, end of August. This is mid-July. I'm like, what?
Everybody say the same thing.
Let me get ready. I'm like, but you have to push.
Like, this sounds great. Third quarter next year. This sounns great. No. 60 days. Now. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. That's it, man. They said no.
Opportunity does not wait.
How long did it take Noah to build the art?
How long is it going to take us to build it? InvestFest.
6 weeks.
There it
is. Success loves speed.
That's a fact. Shout out to my boy Neo.
That was very powerful. Per usual. Hopefully everybody can take a minute to hit the like button.
Yes,
please hit the like button.
And hopefully everybody screenshot it. Those stocks of the future, Ian, I had 3 of them in my list. So I hope that if you didn't get it,
I hope
go back, rewatch and go back and rewatch and screenshot it. There was at least 3 that I had on mine, and I'm gonna add some more.
Yeah,
you gave away a lot tonight, man. A lot of jewelry tonight.
Every week, man. Like, come on, man. It's free information.
Mm-hmm.
Free information is for the world. Whoever wants to consume it, any country, any ethnicity, any culture, whatever. It's just information, and then you do what you want with the information. But
what's the motto? Information on us, application on you.
Yeah, for sure. And
especially that family part.
Ian will definitely be at InvestFest with Wall Street Trapper, among other people.
A few other surprises.
Yeah, for sure. So
it's called the biggest.
I don't think the people have really seen him in person outside of a couple networking events because we had Corona last year, so he didn't get a chance to go on tour with us when we was doing our tour thing. So this will probably be the first. Well, I know it's definitely gonna be the first opportunity for people to see him speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tear that shit down too. I'm telling you guys, I'm bringing not just you get the 2 Tech 2 index. I'm gonna go over swing trading, swing investing, trading futures, how to integrate it all. I'm gonna go over how to grow your business 500% through preponderance-based marketing, like show, bunch of fire content. So be there. Not be there all 3 days.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Be there or be square. Can we get some questions? We haven't.
Can I go real quick? Ian, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
And then we'll open it up because if you've been following what's been going on, I know you brought up China. Obviously, when we looked at that 64 trillion, that's nothing to be sneezed at, right?
At all.
But I've been getting some text messages right now because there's been a huge pullback with obviously what China's going on and their lockdown of, especially in the tech companies. Is it now a good time or should we wait till things get sorted out with China? Like, what is the well-being of the Alibabas and the Tencents and the Badus of the world and the newfound Didi, which dropped like 50%? What's your thoughts?
My grandmother once told me to mind my business and geopolitical affairs, so I would do that here. But I will say the way that China and its economic structure is run is akin to Suge Knight in the 1990s. It's the only reason I don't like investing in stocks there. Like Alibaba, arguably, probably is one of the best 36 companies in the world. Stock does not reflect it. That's because of the geopolitical stuff there. I would I would stay away for a bit.
Yeah,
But
it's been
whatever
tough.
you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, to try to advise somebody investing in Alibaba, like I think the company's great, but it's like there's just that stigma. I can't do it. Not now, I can't. But people have been looking like when they see a pullback, it's like, oh, is this time? Is this time? Is this time? I'm a little wary, and Shadi has made me that way about Chinese companies. So I'm a little wary.
Even Tencent, like Tencent is at a great run. I mean, what's that, $60 and 18 cents? Tencent should probably be at like 160 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the geopolitical structure, you can't.
Yeah, they were told that they had to break up their music division. There's all types of things going on over there. So just be mindful of investing, and that's what I always tell people. Just being mindful of investing in, especially Chinese companies. Obviously, y'all know the Lukin story, but these are great. Alibaba, like we said, we think is a great company, but just be mindful.
But in their race for global dominance, excuse me, Rashad, I'm sorry, I'm just saying real quick. But in their race for global dominance, to not let anyone else have control, they're not going to have a population of billionaires that can control government. Government is going to control the billionaires. That is a part of their plan to take over. You can only have, like China operates by the one Hefe rule. You can only have one big boss, and probably for the next probably 2043 they'll let up on that. But for the next 20 something years, they're not going to let anyone have as much control as the powers that be there. That's all I'll say about that.
Call me Hova Hefe.
Yeah, we saw Jack Ma disappear for 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So always interesting.
Shout out to the good folks. Shout out to the good folks at Investopedia also. I'm rocking their hoodie.
Caleb, what's up, man?
We did their podcast, and Investopedia has been one of my favorite websites for a very long time when I have questions about investing. So stay tuned.
It's called Stay Tuned.
Stay tuned.
Caleb and the whole team at Investopedia. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. InvestFest will not be live streamed. We want to really make this a real in-person event. It's like Coachella or Rolling Loud.
Right.
You can't really see that unless you actually go to it. So, and it's only once a year. We're not taking this on the road. It's a festival. Pre-sale ends this week.
There you go.
All right, let's get some questions.
Let's go. Who's up here first? Pearson, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was wondering if I could break guidelines and ask 2 questions, but it's up to y'all. But I do.
Are they 2 great questions?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, go ahead, fire.
Okay, so my first question, right? So I just finished reading The Great Crash in 1929. And I noticed that like after every, let's say, recession or financial crisis, the government always comes and creates new acts or regulations. So in 34 was the Securities Act, the SEC Act, and then you had a crash in 1975. They did amendments to the SEC Act, and then in 2008 you had the Dodd-Frank. So I was wondering, with those problems that occur within those crashes and recessions, why did the government not implement rules and regulations then? Why did they wait till after?
Because during every crisis or crash, and like probably one of the best questions asked this year. So I want to give you props for that, and thank you for knocking out this home run for breaking guidelines. But whenever you have a crash or crisis, you then need to go back to the American public and say, hey, this is why, and this is what we're going to do to fix it. So in 2008, Madoff was the fall guy. New regulations came in, and there are times when things do need to be adjusted, but you have to always have a fall guy or a set of circumstances to tell people this is why this is happening, and this is what we're going to do to try and mitigate that risk to make sure it doesn't happen again. Madoff was not the only one. There were a few other people. He just had the biggest one, and a few of the other associates that he had or peers that were running those kind of schemes. Some of them are still operating overseas, ironically. But that's the primary reason, because you need to tell the public so that they can have trust and votes and all that, what you're going to do to offset that error from happening again.
All right, thank you. All right, and then my next question. So I know the beta of a stock is basically the historical numbers. So I've been practicing this calculation, the equity risk premium, but I studied the calculation, and you could use a forward projection or you could use a historical rate. And I was wondering, based off the information that you know and the knowledge that you all know, which one would be better? Because if I'm able to calculate the equity risk premium, I'm going to eventually use it to calculate the country risk premium. So then I can start looking at investing in India in particular their financial sector.
Is this for trading or for long-term investing?
Long-term investing.
Which one do you think is better? Because your thesis is right. Which one are you leaning towards using?
Well, I'm conflicted because if I go using the past, yes, the past may not be the same, but the past rhymes. But if I use the future, is you may not be able to predict it accordingly, but you can have a standard deviation to where it falls within. But
yes. And what would that deviation be?
That's what I'm actually stuck on. I could say 5%, I could say 10%, but
if you take the forward projection and just put in, this is a hell of a question. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the real answer I can't give you on air.
Right.
But the question is amazing. You're on the right path. I will use forward. But past projections are not bad, especially if you're looking at a country or if you're looking at any macro global financial powerhouse. There is, like you said, it a rhyme. Like, for example, like I know over the course of the next 10 years, like Apple probably pushed back to 248 based historically what they've done. But if you don't have that data, if you look at those four projections and give it like a 5 to maybe 8% range, you'll be fine. But your questions are incredible. Because once you ask tough questions like that, the rest of the game becomes easy. Where to buy, where to get in, how long to hold. That's child's play. The questions that you're asking on a macro scale to look to hold. How long ago are you looking to hold?
20, 30 years.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're going to hit a home run.
Pearson, how old are you, man?
I'm only 25.
My God.
Can we get some horns? Can we get some horns from Pearson?
Yeah, shout out to Pearson. Where you from? California?
Nah, man, I'm from Virginia, but I stay here in Alabama, though.
What part of Alabama?
Huntsville, 256.
Shout out to everybody in Alabama. I got family to live in Alabama, so shout out to everybody. Come back next week and ask questions. We need to build a segment in for you because those questions were phenomenal.
I mean, I asked a question on Facebook, but you was busy though. But it's cool.
I wasn't playing. You are acting brand new. I love you,
Pearson. Send me an email. And if Janet, if you in here, actually, I'll direct message you my email. I want to chop it up with you.
Yeah.
All right, my guy.
Yeah, DM me your stuff. I'm gonna get you in the club.
Appreciate you.
Shout out to Pearson, man.
That's a great question.
That was. I was interested in the deviation he had.
That goes back to it's not about just receiving information. It's about doing your homework and bringing something to the table, and that's what he's done, and that's what the communities are built for. So when you see Red Panda, when you see EYL University, when you see any type of organization like this, it's like I spoke about it before. The organization is only as good as the students inside of the organization. It's like nobody really even talks about the professors at Howard University or at Yale University or at Harvard, maybe every now and then, but they mostly talk about the graduates of these schools that have gone on to do great things. So we're building these institutions, and that's what this is. Earn Your Leisure is an institution where you have, some of the brightest minds that we are able to highlight, whether it's Wall Street Trapper, Ian, MG the Mortgage Guy, whoever. But the institutions are only as good as the proteges that come from the institutions and help change the world. So it's encouraging to see that, and hopefully, everybody is taking their education just as serious as Pearson.
He set the bar, so you guys better come with some questions after that.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Oh no, I don't want to ask."
Please go read The Man for All Markets. I've talked about it before. It's a great one. But Pearson, great job.
Ronald Hines, we're coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Ronald?
I just got one question.
Fire away. How are you?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Good.
And I never got. Wait a minute. Let me get this out of the way. I never got the scholarship.
DM me your email right now. I'll send it to the team right now. We'll get you in.
Okay. I'm about to open up a new barbershop.
Where?
In Durham, North Carolina.
Okay.
Congrats.
My question is for Rashad. How can I get a picture, a poster of that EYL Earn Your Leisure in the background, or the Market Mondays?
I will. I'll send it to you. That's how you can get it. I'll send it to you. Email me.
I appreciate that.
email me and I will send you the first time anybody has asked for that. So that's dope. That's a humbling question.
Yeah.
That somebody would be.
This one right here. You want this one, Ronald?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send it to you. We're gonna sign it and all that, and we're gonna get it to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. I
Thank
do
you.
a lot.
I appreciate it.
I'm opening up a new one, but I do a lot of. I'm always showing y'all in my new present barbershop now. So
for the barbershop. Oh, that's a vibe. You're gonna put it up in your barbershop?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I appreciate that, man. I definitely we'll send you a couple of different, all of our logos. You know, Market Mondays,
the whole thing.
Send you the emoji thing, whatever you want. We send it to you.
Wow.
And you can put whatever you want up in the barbershop. And I appreciate it. When you do put it up in the barbershop, send me a picture.
Yeah, let us know.
I'll be sure to share the picture and try to drive as much traffic to your business as possible. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Ronald.
And what will I send my information to?
Info at Earn Your Leisure, and we'll get everything to you. All right.
All right. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
and
you,
I'll
bro.
be sure to put we can put something together for him too, like quick video for the shop.
Yeah. That's dope.
Session.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
It's always dope when you see the bar. I've seen a couple times they was watching Earn Your Leisure Market Mondays in barbershops. That's always dope to see because growing up you go to barbershops and you always you're watching movies or you're watching rap videos and people was just debating different things. So to hear people have conversations about finance, even when I go to my barber, shout out to Brandon, and going there sometimes and they talking about Bitcoin, they talking about stocks, they talk about Market Monday, they talk about Earn Your Leisure, real estate. So these are the conversations that's happening in the barbershops now. So the whole culture is changing because the culture really moves from barbershops.
Yeah,
barbershops is an extremely important part of our culture. So to see conversations about crypto and stocks and real estate and business being talked about in the barbershop lets me know that we touching the people at the grassroots and it's moving in the right direction.
It's crazy you said that because when we were doing the interview with when we sat down with Usain Bolt, after I called my parents, let them know it happened, I called my old barber because I grew up in the barbershop with him, and he had Bob Marley, Michael Jordan, Garnell Tip on the wall, and I was like, look, I'm gonna be on the wall. And so I sent them the picture with Usain with the Thunderbolt. And I said, look, if I'm not on the wall, I'm taking over the shop. I'm going to buy it. He said, yo, you're finally going to make my wall. So that's crazy that he called to do legendary. That. And Scotty's saying that now because that's exactly what I did after.
Shout out to all the barbers out there. Shout out to all the hair salons out there. Very essential workers. Barbers, absolutely. Barbers are essential workers.
Let's go here. I had the name. Where'd she go? Let's go to Francis. Francis Mitchell, what's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Francis? I'm gonna need a fridge break emoji and a fridge break sound.
We got that sound.
Francis, one more time.
Francis. Oh wait, no, we're going somewhere else. Let's go to Zatrick. Zatrick, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
Yo, I'm at work right now. I'm actually mopping. Hold on. How do I turn my camera? Hold on.
We can hear you, bro. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing good. I actually have two questions. My first question was actually for Ian. I'm a D2 athlete at Southwest Baptist. I run track, and I was trying to be sponsored or be getting sponsorship by Red Panda Club because I'm a big fan of financial education. I host meetings on Thursday with my friends about stocks and stuff. Yeah. And, I do understand that you do want like D1 because you did mention D1 athletes, football, basketball. Yeah. But me personally, this would be the greatest sponsorship I could ever get. Like, regardless of anything that I could go out there, because I'm trying to get sponsored. But this one in particular is what I would like to do. But if there's anything that I can do, an application I need to fill out, I'm willing to do it.
What do you need in terms of sponsorship?
We with the NLI, we can get like paid to do stuff. But really, I was just saying if I could just bring traffic towards the Red Panda Club by just sponsoring it, or like anytime I mention my financial education stuff or anything like that, I could just reference where I get some of my information.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but you got a superstar name, and I want to take care of you since you had the balls to ask. What do you need in terms of sponsorship? Got to be prepared. I won't tell you no, but I'll say yes. Email me Ian at Join Red Panda. And yeah, I'll be sure to do it. But be prepared for when you
Wasn't ready
ask
for the yes.
Valuable lesson right here. You have to know your worth in life.
Yeah.
And this is a learning experience, because shout out to the young man for being
Zach, appreciate you.
shout out to him, man. I
you.
love that energy. But if I could have a positive critique, when he was asked how much he wanted as far as monetary compensation or just any kind of compensation, he wasn't prepared. This is something that a lot of us do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we might ask for a job, we might ask for, then when somebody asks like, okay, how much do you want to be paid? You don't really know, or you just don't feel confident in saying it. Like, you might want $100,000 a year, and it's like, well, what can you afford to give me? Or, well, you know, we can talk about it. We can figure it out. That happens all the time in business. Like, never be afraid to say how much you think you're worth. Even if people might not agree with it, at least you said it. Yep. So that's something that's extremely, extremely important. You have to be prepared to say a number, because sometimes you're going to be asked.
Start high, because people are always going to dwindle you down. Go ahead, Rashad.
Yeah.
The worst that can happen is no, but that's fine. We learned that Bounty Killer gave us a great story about that, about knowing your worth and standing on that.
Shout out to Bounty Killer.
Bounty Killer.
Do we got to wait for the
story?
exclusive?
No, don't do it.
Can you tell
it
it
for the episode? Save it for the episode.
Oh, come on.
It's such a. I don't think I've ever heard this story. I don't think anyone's ever heard this story. It's about knowing your worth. And he gave that to us exclusively, so it was crazy.
Extremely important.
Shout out to Banky.
Extremely important.
Let's go here. Let's go to Cheyenne. Sand, I see you over there with your Minecraft t-shirt. What's going on?
What's going on?
Fortnite.
Cheyenne, you've been unmuted. What's going on?
Could y'all hear me?
We hear you perfectly.
So I called in. Well, first I want to say thanks for calling on me, and I actually have a few questions, if that's fine.
We'll start with one.
All right. I called a few months back, and remember I was talking about how I had like 35 stocks in my portfolio.
I do remember.
And you guys told me narrow it down to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get your opinion on my 10.
Oh, let's hear them.
What's your 10?
All right. I got Square, Apple, Microsoft, Visa, Disney, CrowdStrike, DraftKings, Nia, and one of them is a penny stock called AITX and ChargePoint.
What did you say after CrowdStrike? I didn't hear it.
DraftKings, Nia, and then I have a penny stock too called AITX and ChargePoint.
Well, what price did you get in on AITX?
I got in on AITX at 1 second. I gotta check because I've been averaging down. I got in kind of high, and then like as it dropped, I just kept buying into it because they got a new CEO, and I don't know. I like their company.
Yeah,
but
that's the only one.
My average cost is 0.069, so I'm at like 7 cents.
It's not bad. That's the only one I don't like out of the group. But if it bounces to 10 cents, you can exit. The rest of them, you're great. So, like I'm proud of you.
I think one thing I like about your portfolio is that it's diversified. You have like DraftKings, you have Apple, you have Square, you have what else did she say?
She said Microsoft, CrowdStrike,
Visa.
So you have cybersecurity, you have payment processing, you have Apple, you have the online gambling. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Even though they're all kind of like tech companies, they serve different sectors of the economy. So I would say that that's a very good portfolio. Continue with it. Are you dollar cost averaging? Like, are you putting money in every month, or how are you doing it?
Well, I put money in every month, and then when they drop down to a certain price, I'll add a lot extra.
Yeah, if ChargePoint gets to 1486, you can add more there because they're gonna slide down to 18. With 1486, add more. And then if your cost basis is decent there, you're good. The rest of them, you have home runs.
Super solid. Great. Yeah. The ones that you said up until DraftKings, I have in my portfolio as well. So they're all solid, including Visa, which I really loved. I've had it for probably like a year and a half, maybe. So, I was going back and forth with should I leave the position? And I love that the fact that it's performing now. I'm ecstatic that I held the door. I held the door on that one. Yeah, so I love it. And I love the fact that you executed, right? There was 55 positions that you had. You heard some information. You said, look, they said, let's scale it down a bit. And you've scaled it down and you've picked some really, really solid companies. So Cheyenne,
Yeah, great job for trimming.
Salute to you. Salute to you.
Thank you. So my next question is, well, I recently had a baby, and
Congrats.
I wanted.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I wanted to use the 529 for private school also. So like I did do a little bit of research, and I seen that you are allowed to do that. But since like, should I go super aggressive inside the 529 since I'll be like leaning towards using it sooner than when he's 18? Or should I still like, stick to the formula with like 2 tech and 2 index funds?
When you
go ahead, Rashad.
Yeah, when you do a 529 plan, it's kind of similar to the 401k where you just can't invest the money however you want. They're going to give you options. So like each 529 plan is sponsored by a mutual fund company, depending on what state it is. So like, let's say Fidelity is sponsoring the 529 plan that you want to invest in. They'll give you 2 different ways how you choose to invest. You can invest in the age-based model, which is like 0 to 5 years old, 5 to 10 years old, 10 to 15 years old, 15 to like 18 years old. So the 0 to 5 is the most aggressive. And then 5 to 10 is a little bit less aggressive. And then 10 to 15 is kind of moderate. And then 15 to 18 is conservative. Very similar to like how an age-based retirement plan works, where as you get closer to the child being 18 or getting ready to go to school, college, then it becomes more conservative. Or they'll give you, different options on how to invest. Like you can just do like the moderate or the conservative, or you can just kind of like, base it off of that as far as like the different modules that they give you. So I would say the age-based model is always a good way to go. It's autopilot, and it's going to be aggressive anyway, because that's how it's kind of tailor-made for a person, a child that's just born like 1 year old. You want to be aggressive because, but being that, you're going to use the money, soon. You just have to just keep an eye on it, obviously, and, just kind of, make sure. But if, at any point in time, if you want to change and just put it in a conservative bucket, you can. That's up to you. But until you plan on using it, I would definitely be aggressive with it. And also, when do you plan on putting your child in private school?
I haven't decided yet. I'm studying to get my life. I'm studying to be able to sell life insurance. So I would like for them to do private school at the start, but it really just depends on where I'm at financially. I mean, I am doing okay. I own a few houses and stuff, but I want to make sure I'm able to afford it once I start. I don't want to have to stop like in the middle. And like, I plan on moving too. So I would like for them to start in kindergarten, but by 5th grade, it's a must for middle school and up.
Yeah,
I mean, I was about to go into 1st grade. He doesn't need in kindergarten.
First grade?
Yeah. Like Xander's about to go to 1st. Like, you don't need to send your kid to private for kindergarten.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just something to think of. But yeah, you want to kind of hold off on a private school as long as you can, because obviously for a few different reasons, you'll have more money growing. Mm-hmm. Like if you put the money in and take it out, it's not going to be able to grow. But then also, it's a risk reward ratio with these private schools. I'm realizing. I went to private school. I went to public school, and I went to private school. I went to private school late. I went to private school in 11th grade. Mm-hmm. But I realized that up until like 4th, 5th grade doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you'd be better off getting that home tutor. Probably 2 or 3 times.
Once you get to like high school, junior high school, that's when you really, really got to start thinking about things. Because like when a child turns 12 years old, especially, boys and girls. So I wouldn't really invest a bunch of money when a child's like in diapers. Like, what are they going to do? That's different.
Yeah, I just always felt like the public school system, like it doesn't do right by little Black boys.
Yeah.
Here's the important part though, right? So, and I went to public school my whole life. I taught in public school, and this is the best advice I can give you. And the fact that you're here tells me that you're going to be able to execute on this information. Education doesn't stop inside the 4 walls, and the fact that you have this sound mind, your child is going to be able to learn from you. So, public or private, the foundation starts with you, and the fact that you're guiding this this family and the financial freedom that the path that you're on, it won't matter, private or public, until, like Shadi said, when you get into high school and the education starts to be a little bit more challenging and it becomes more of a networking tool
But then
inside of private institutions.
Also, you got to think about, like, MG could speak more on this, but this is a real estate question as well, where a lot of parents face the decision. Okay, it's like, especially like a lot of these private schools, it might be like $40,000-$50,000 a year. So does it really make sense to pay that much money for private school, or just move into a better neighborhood, because you're gonna be paying property taxes anyway? So if you live in a good neighborhood and you're paying high property taxes, at least you'll be in a better public school system where you can go to the public school. So that's always a debate with parents, especially Black parents, because it's like, unfortunately, a lot of times when you move to nicer neighborhoods, there's not a lot of diversity. And I'm not a big fan of putting your kid in a school system where it's not diverse, because I think that causes problems for children. So it's a lot of issues with Black people, especially when you start making money. It's like, you don't want to stay in the hood, but then you don't want to go to an all white neighborhood, and then you're like the only person there that's of color, and then you guys send a kid, and then that's issues. Then private school is like $50,000 a year, and then that's an issue. So a lot to think about, but it all depends on whatever your goals are.
Yeah, EYL University.
That's the best.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your portfolio. 3 thumbs up from us.
Thank
you.
You
did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, real quick, can I just tell us the earnings? Because
absolutely,
if they don't know, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google will be reporting this week. You hear this? Check the stat out, Ian. Those 4 stocks, right? Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google. They represent 20% of the entire weight of the S&P 500. Just those 4 companies. Absolutely ridiculous. So let's run it down. Obviously, Tesla reported today. They beat earnings. Some quick numbers on Tesla. So for the first time, they reported 1.1 billion in a quarter, right? So they produced over 200,000 vehicles, and they did over 800 million in their energy business. So all my Tesla folks and my Tesla enthusiasts, I'm sure when you were looking at CNBC after hours and saw the stock go up, salute to you. Hopefully it can be on an uptrend.
I told you.
I told you so. Tomorrow, half of my portfolio is going to be reporting. So UPS, Apple will be reporting. AMD will be reporting. Microsoft, Visa, Teladoc, Google, Raytheon, and the company you spoke about, 3M, when we were tying it into Apple byproducts, they'll be reporting. On Wednesday, Boeing, Shopify, Facebook, PayPal, ServiceNow, McDonald's. And on Thursday, my company, Amazon will be reporting earnings. And they were obviously in the news today with those Bitcoin talks. They later have denied that they were getting involved in Bitcoin this year. I'm going to put a quotation around this year. But they did put out a search for somebody to be an executive in the crypto digital currency space. So they put out a posting for digital currency executive, and that sparked the rumors. Obviously, we saw Bitcoin run up to 40,000. It's peeled back. I think when I last checked before we started Market Monday, it was at 37,000. So they'll be reporting on Thursday, as well as Twilio. And you mentioned them. You said top 3 cloud services. You had Amazon. You said Twilio. And I have Skyworks in there. I'm not sure if people have been paying attention to Skyworks and SMEs. It's a company to keep an eye on. And then Friday, we got P&G and Caterpillar. So those are, it's a huge earnings week. So those are the companies that we're looking at for sure. And obviously, like I said, majority of my portfolio will be reporting this week. So there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
One last gem. Put yes in chat if you guys have heard of a FICO score. Have you looked at investing in the company FICO itself, the stock? Look at the chain, dig deep. Whenever a shot hits you with he ready to go. So I'm not going to keep you out too much longer.
Talk about that. Talk about the FICO. I never heard about that situation. Talk about that.
Because, if you look at FICO, any tool that measures and tracks how Americans are spending, and because credit scores are really a debt analysis tool. Right now, FICO is at 539, but during last year, it got to a low of 186. So with housing going crazy, spending going crazy, Visa doing well, who determines if you get a credit card or any kind of credit lent out to you? Fair Housing, Fair Isaac Corporation, is a big component of that. So if they are the ones that are dictating who will get lines of credit, you probably should invest in the person or the entity that is allowing people to get these credit lines and credit cards and mortgages and things of that nature. So if you look back 5 years ago, the stock was at 109.77. It's at 539.94 now. Probably in 3 years, it'll be at 783. I don't want you guys to be like, yo, it's too expensive. But when it hits 1,000, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I would have got into it. So look at FICO, especially when the economy is booming. That is a nice stock to invest in when the American economy is rising. FICO is the
FICO the ticker.
Yeah, they paid it as the premium, I'm assuming, for that. But yeah, look at it, put that on your watch list. FICO.
Real quick, Ian, I'm gonna give an ETF that I've been watching kind of silently. I haven't told you about this one. I haven't told Shari about this one. IETC. Quick thoughts. I don't like the volume, but the growth has been pretty good. It obviously has amazing holdings. Amazon's in there.
Great.
Yeah.
You find
Microsoft, Apple,
Amazon.
Amazon.
Write that down. Yeah. IETC is great. Yeah, and some of you been asking for NVIDIA at 175.04 and Square 202.52. But IETC is damn, you found a sleeper for real. 57
Yeah,
bucks.
I think
that what SPLG that was mentioned 2 weeks ago. That's a good tandem.
Shh. Everybody here, shh. Okay. Keep
Good
it on your
tandem.
list.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. FICO, that was interesting.
I gotta earn my
Very
keep, man. You know. Gotta keep my. I can't be screaming Apple and Microsoft every week. Not good for the replay value. So for those of you stay to the end, I appreciate you. Throw you a little lob. I love y'all.
Somebody said the game winner. Fade away.
Yeah, big
away.
Giannis. Trade Hova, two stock Shakur. Y'all nicknames to me is crazy. I love y'all.
That's a new one. I like that.
Yeah, two stock Shakur. I was like, that's hard. Whoever came up with that DM me, I owe you some money for that one.
That's got to be a new hashtag.
Yeah.
That has to be a new hashtag.
That is a fact, man. Yeah, that FICO situation is interesting because so many people's in debt, and that's not going anywhere. And
At all.
that whole situation. So, interesting. Some homework to do for
Am
everybody.
I impressed you? Oh shit. Well, boy. Fresh off the flight too. You know, Shotty don't like nothing. Giannis put up 50. I ain't see no text from me. He's like, yeah, they won. I'm like, damn, boy, put up 50. What else you need to do? Damn.
Nah, he put up that was a 50 piece. 50 piece.
Oh man,
that was last week. This
Yeah.
day.
He ain't said nothing in the group text about it. Oh, yeah, they won. Cool.
Shout out to Milwaukee. Shout out to Milwaukee.
Oh man, Jaleel said that too. He's like, I'll be coming over. He's like, yo, Troy be so excited, but I'll be like, all right, it's good.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, Hove and Drake about to drop an album. He's like, I don't know if it's gonna be good. I'm like, bruh.
Oh man, nah, I appreciate it.
Don't
man.
worry, I got y'all.
I always appreciate all of the information, man. It's just top tier, top
Definitely.
level, man. Thank everybody for your continued support. Market Mondays. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Let us know, how we can possibly improve the show. Like I said, we're thinking about some, different ways just to make it, a little bit more entertaining if we can, and different things like that. We're always looking to improve everything that we do. So always open to feedback, different guests that you might want to see on the show. Let us know. And just keep spreading the word, keep liking the video, subscribe to the podcast.
Do that.
Yes.
The videos on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, write a review, and
Share
give
it.
a 5-star rating.
Yeah, share it.
5-star rating.
EYL Network, yo.
That's a
We need
fact.
to do Market Mondays live soon, maybe.
Oh yeah, we could do that. We got a whole
November.
this
A couple of ideas or something.
The live event space is just opening up. So Invest Fest is the first thing, but outside of that, we got other stuff that
we had some preliminary talks this afternoon.
Yeah.
We don't stop. Yo, I gotta say this before we go, man. Obviously, I said it in the beginning, but this episode of Market Mondays is brought to you by Ally Financial. Ally is an option if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial services company with passionate customer service and innovative financial solutions. They are relentlessly focused on doing it right and being a trusted financial service provider for both customers and communities. Get with Ally to make the most of your money so you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter to you. Shout out to the good folks of Ally, official sponsor of Market Mondays, man.
That stock been killing too.
Yeah. They reported last week too.
That's a fact. Somebody said Rashad's only impressed by snow.
The indictment. Those two.
Yo, the album is fire too. No, the album is fire.
That's about it.
The album is fire. I can't front. Yo,
you gotta bring Snow on the show.
Snow and Dykeman. You got to bring Snow to Dykeman. Actually,
they said that she might be this generation Sade. It's interesting because that's the two albums that we had up there. Not that we were comparing or I was comparing, but I mean,
that's a fair.
She has that type of vibe. Like it's a good vibe.
It's very soulful.
Yeah, her album is crazy.
Very, very soulful.
Yeah. Did you listen to that album?
Yeah. I definitely. I got it in my playlist. Once again, Invest Fest. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you guys tap in. We have Hill Harper, MG the Mortgage Guy, Miss Business, EYL, 19 Keys, Jim Jones, David Shands, Fabulous, Ash Cash, Kizia, Kiana Watson, John Henry, Wall Street Trapper, Ronnie Brown, and of course Ian Dunlap will all be present. And that's the first wave. We have some big names that we're going to be announcing in the next week or two. So make sure you guys come to Invest Fest. It's in Atlanta, and August 27th to August 29th. I know there's a lot of excitement around it.
Yeah.
Make sure you come, man. We're gonna have some more surprises for you.
Don't wait. Like you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I
can't believe it.
Yeah, they announced who? Like, you know the model. You don't know who we know. You don't.
Shut up.
We done proven it time after time. You don't know who we know.
Good.
And at this rate,
looking forward to
nothing's off the table.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
I will say for those of you who are joining, one little quick tip: come and everyone that you meet, ask how can you help them. You'll see me even doing it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every person I meet, hey, can I help you invest for free? Like that. When you go to conferences, that is the blueprint. Because you can build a network of 500-600 people over a weekend. If you come in and try and help, let's say you help 500 people, maybe 30 may have an opportunity for you, but 5 are really going to come through. But those other people that you help is going to build your book of business on the back end. Like I'm telling you, come prepared to help. And then if you're looking to have like a financial levy moved in your favor, that is the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
Who are you? Don't give me a political answer, but out of those people, who are you most excited to see? Who are you looking
for? To be honest, Trap, Keys, and John Henry, because those are always the three. Like I talked to 19 earlier, like he like I ain't gonna hold you long. We talk all day, because he's one of the people that like pushes and inspires, and even like seeing you Trap, like having to like I'm breaking out of my like number 8 Kobe and moving into my 24 Kobe, trying to be more personable, shake hands, because it can't just be about the craft. Like a good thing I heard Shaq say was like when you focus just on a task, you sometimes can deteriorate the relationship, but if you focus on the relationship first, it's easier to get the task done. So John, I love dearly. Trap, he always pushes, and then 19, he's, he different. Like he like works the 5'9" to me. He going a different zone and blackout, and I'm like, damn, I'm just honored to keep up. So, but I'm gonna be out there shaking hands, but even to sit like talk to Ash Cash, like his energy, he's underrated as hell. To be around Matt, like I'm happy to be there and in person, and then all the people that'll be there and network. But I'm gonna be networking my ass off. I'll be there all day, setting up booths and everything. I'm gonna be there early. Everybody who got a booth, I'm gonna come
Red Panda booth. Red Panda booth.
And if you guys don't get booths, I'll get 10 and be a.
Nah, Trap. Shout out to all the guys too, man. That just shows like Neo hit like how can I get a booth?
Yep.
Wall Street Trapper, like I want a Trapper's booth. Ian want a booth. So that just goes to show like never too proud or never too big to take an opportunity. Got thousands of people there. It's like, why not?
Gonna have merch there, and we're gonna have some stock bonus gives away inside the merch. Like, different. I'm coming on to put it on the show, like show, and being there taking notes too. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Make sure you guys check out the episode tomorrow with my boy Stick Watts. Very important, as I said. That episode is one of one of these episodes I really like when we do Hometown Heroes. He took us on a tour of Watts, gave us a whole tour, took us to Grape Street, took us to all of that.
Yes. Yeah. We were with the right guy though.
Yeah. You always gotta be with the right people. That's very important.
That's a valuable lesson we've learned.
Yeah.
We'll go anyway as long as we got the right people with us.
Shout out Prince yeah.
You know him?
Yeah, he in Red Panda. I ain't gonna tell his bit, but incredible investor. I'll say that. Like he got in
Yeah,
and
that's
got to it.
dope.
Like, yeah,
he's dope.
home run.
His school is amazing.
Yeah.
His school's amazing, man. So shout out to everybody out there in California, man. And shout out to everybody in Jamaica also, man. That was I'm still very, impressed by
Double FOMO. Man.
Yeah, Jamaica, man. We gotta go. Well, next time we go, man.
We'll be back for sure. We'll be back for sure. It was one of those I can't say bucket list. It was like a life fulfilled journey was like completed.
I mean, even to have that Market Mondays clip went viral with Sham.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That went viral on the internet. So to have Usain Bolt and Shams on Market Mondays, and like I said, I don't know how he remembered that gym that he dropped, but that was like all time classic.
Artist. Like even that, and that's a good lesson. Like I would love to talk to him about that more. Like to have a moment and eat up all the space. He had the best moment of the night, and Usain was right there. Like that's rare to like, yo, you get 10 seconds, steal the scene. That is an art. Like,
you gotta be ready.
Once going
back to the elevator pitch, going back to, you know what I'm saying? You never know when you'll have an opportunity. And when you do have an opportunity, it's important to seize the moment.
Yeah. And he did that all day. That was him all day. Like we did an episode. We went back to his neighborhood. We shot a little promo for the episode. That's like, he's ready to go at all times. 10 o'clock, we met him in the lobby and we were with him till 9 o'clock. And then we saw him. He went to a party after he left us. We were still doing Market Mondays. He was at a party. I'm like, oh, you couldn't just wait for us?
Shout out to Sham.
Shout out to Sham. Yeah. Shout out to Sherlock Crescent.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kingston.
Shout out to Jamaica, man.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, you got anything you want to say?
I love y'all. Tell me what was your favorite part of the episode. Everybody can put it in chat and we can wrap up. So Rashad can go to hop in the car and go play snow. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, but go check on your family, talk to your friends. That matters most, because never once at a funeral that I've attended have I thought about KPIs, businesses, stocks, marketing. None of that shit matters. When you're praying and your family's crying, like go talk to them, please.
I'm gonna leave it on a Drake quote. I was listening to it on the plane. Powerful quote. He said, may your neighbors respect you, trouble neglect you, angels protect you, and heaven accept you. So we'll leave you on that. Love is love, y'all. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. Peace.
Love y'all.
Tomorrow too on the episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Wednesday, government contracting on YouTube, a class for government contracting Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Make sure you tap in. All right, y'all. Love is love.